Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn, the traveling trainer of GoTarryn Personal Training here in the greater Atlanta area, about to interview a great fitness professional by the name of Ms. Carrigan Carrigan, who's also here in Atlanta. Now, before I tell you about Catherine, if you could please be so kind to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also, while you're watching today's video blog show, to go ahead and like the video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there on your social media. Now back to Carrigan Carrigan. That's right, this is her first time here on GoTarryn TV. I'm excited to meet her face-to-face here momentarily. I'm going to tell you that Carrigan Carrigan is a #1 best bookseller on Amazon, as well as being a medical intuitive healer. I'm going to ask her about fitness and nutrition and healing and all the great things that she does to give you unlimited energy now. I'm excited to meet Carrigan Carrigan here on GoTarryn TV. When we come back, we will have her here. And remember that GoTarryn Personal Training is your time, your investment in your life. Stay tuned, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, and as you can see side by side, we are welcoming a new guest to today's show for the very first time, also here in the greater Atlanta area. She's an Amazon #1 bestseller and a medical intuitive healer. Her name is Ms. Carrigan Carrigan on GoTarryn TV. Catherine, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Taryn. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and thank you everybody out there in the audience for listening.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Catherine. I reached out to you. We're connected on social media in different ways. And I was thoroughly impressed. I have to thank you very much for sending me the PDF copy of Unlimited Energy Now. And we're definitely going to talk about that. I've delved into the book. I haven't finished it yet. I apologize. But it's great. It's got me hooked, and I really, really appreciate it. So before we even get into anything, a topic of discussion here, I wanted to ask about you. And if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you ended up here in the greater Atlanta area.
Well, thanks for asking. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia. I am a Georgia girl, very proud to be a Georgia girl. And I have been in Atlanta now for, this year will be my 24th year in Atlanta. I absolutely adore Atlanta. I'm lucky in that I work out of my house. My little puppy who's pushing her tennis ball at me works with me. But I work out of my home in Collier Hills, so I've got that traffic thing figured out, and I love what I do. So I've taught yoga here in Atlanta. This will be my 21st year teaching yoga. I've taught Qigong maybe for 18 years, and love what I do. Love helping people be healthier and happier like you do.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, definitely, Catherine. Sounds like we're cut from the same cloth. And, you're a busy person, and we were talking about that before recording. Our schedules are just unbelievably booked. But also, talking about your education and upbringing, you went to Brown University, is that right?
Yes, absolutely. I went to Brown. I studied art history. I can say I love Monet. But, what was great about that was I had this wonderful professor at Brown, and he became like the father I always wanted and never had. He was the chairman of the art history department. If he was the chairman of tire changing, that would have been my major. So sometimes in life, we just find these rare and extraordinary individuals who are just so influential in our lives. So he and I spoke literally every week for 27 years until he died in 2004. Oh. So he was one of the most influential people in my life. He was not only obviously highly intelligent, but very kind and very giving. And he became a mentor to me and an example of how to be a great mentor to other people.
Oh, that's tremendous. That is very, very good. And when exactly, so you moved to Atlanta, I'm guessing around 1993 roughly then?
Yes, exactly.
And so how did that transition come about?
Well, I was living in Savannah, Georgia at the time and moved up to Atlanta to be married. I lived in Ackworth for many years. And after living in Ackworth for about 5 years, I spent with no exaggeration, 3 hours of every day of my life in the car. Excuse me, I've got my little puppy here. I'm gonna have to pick up my tennis ball and throw it.
We could get the puppy on camera for the people watching.
Throw it. Yeah, she'll definitely bring me her ball here. I have a beautiful puppy here, and this is my assistant right here.
Oh, so cute. What's her name?
Her name is Dixie.
Hi, Dixie. Oh, she is a sweetheart.
She is a sweetie pie. She's addicted to tennis balls. But after being in my car for 3 hours every day for 5 years, I made the executive decision to work out of my house, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And a friend of mine recently asked me to do a free webinar because she said that most people who are yoga teachers, one of the big questions they have is, how do I make a living? And so I did a free webinar on the 12 principles of success for holistic entrepreneurs. And one of them, the first one, was have low overhead.
Ah, very interesting.
Yeah, low overhead. And I've taught yoga for 20 years. I have 6 200-hour teacher trainings in yoga and a 500-hour and lots of study of yoga therapy. And part of the reason I've been able to do that is that I have had a low stress level myself and low overhead. So, and I'm very blessed to have a studio in my home, so that makes it all a lot easier.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I really like in the background, I could see there too, the books that are framed on the wall.
Yeah, these are my 4 Amazon #1 bestsellers. I'm the author of 7 books, actually. 5 of my books are about natural healing, and my 2 most recent books are about social media because I've had so much success with my books.
Yeah.
Somebody said, well, write us a book and explain how to do the social media. So, but I'm back. I've just started working on my 8th book, and I'm back to my true passion, which is natural healing.
Very nice. Excellent. So how did you specifically get into natural healing, and how did you get into writing? I know that's a 2-part question.
Yes. Well, when I grew up, Taryn, like a lot of people, we have things that we long to do. Mm-hmm. And I can remember I was 10 years old, and I'm going to have to throw the tennis ball. I was 10 years old, and I remember staying up all night trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Mm-hmm. And I decided when I was 10 that I wanted to be a writer.
Wow.
I wrote, when I was younger, I wrote poetry. I'm the author of 12 plays. I've had 4 productions off Broadway in New York.
That's impressive.
But my real passion is helping people get healthier and happier. So it's only natural that I write books about that. Mm-hmm. And to me, I don't have children, so my books are part of my legacy. It's part of what I give back. And like you, Taryn, when we accumulate knowledge and information and ways of thinking and ways of figuring out how to help people to get healthier, it's only natural that we want to share that with other people. And that's what I've done with my books. So I have people that I work with as a medical intuitive. I work with people on the phone and on the Skype and on the Zoom video conference from all around the world. But sometimes there are people who can't afford to work with me. And I'll say, well, just go order my book. You can download the audiobook. These are all audiobooks for less than $5. And it makes me proud that I can offer that information and help a lot of people.
No, that's tremendous, Catherine. And it's amazing how social media and today's technology is able, if we were to try to do this, 10, 15 years ago, I don't know if the audiobooks were around back then, and the way internet and social media has exploded, we wouldn't have some of these vehicles to be able to do what you're doing, Catherine. So that is impressive. I love that. And can you, and if you don't want to, it's okay, but Catherine, can you divulge us what the 8th book might, or give us a hint on what you're thinking of writing about?
Absolutely. I'm working on a book about how to get out of pain. And this is a subject that I've been wanting to write about for several years.
Very good.
But I'm a very positive person myself. One of my key core values in life is to uplift other people. So I've been trying to wrap my head around how to write about pain, which can be a very heavy subject, in a very uplifting way. And I found a photographer. The book is going to include photographs of at least 50 yoga exercises. And on the left hand side, there's going to be a photograph. And on the right hand side, there's going to be directions on how to do them. And this will be different from a traditional yoga book in that I'm also going to have information in there about nutrition and also about the emotions that are very common in back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, hip pain, neck pain, and on and on. Because we as human beings, we have 5 levels. When I do a medical intuitive reading, I look at the 5 levels of a person. What's going on the physical level, on the energetic level, which includes your chakras, your breath, and your acupuncture meridians. What's going on emotionally, which is the largest part of any of us. What are your thought patterns that are contributing to your illness or your pain or your suffering? And what's going on the soul level? And when we work on all 5 levels, that's when you supercharge your healing and you really get through things. So that's what I'm going to be writing about, is my approach and how I help people get out of pain.
Oh,
so,
I love it. That's
yes.
great, Catherine. I really like that because that's, personally, I've got back pain myself. People that know me, I'm a wrestler for 20 years now, and so I've got lower back chronic, pain from protruding L4 and L5 discs. So I'm definitely curious, and I'll touch on this too. When you come to the Georgia State campus in a couple of weeks, I'll definitely be curious about that lecture that you're going to give us because that's going to be very insightful.
Okay, well, you should come and let me give you a free session. I'm serious.
Yeah. Oh, count me in, totally. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested.
Let me know when you can come, and I will explain to you what's going on with your back. Obviously, you're knowledgeable, but I'll teach you some things that will help you. Do you have, I won't go in because this is, I won't go into your personal situation here, but I'll help you with that. More than happy to.
That's wonderful, Catherine. I'm excited because I know Collier Hills is not far from me at all. My office is right near Garden Hills, Peachtree Hills area on Peachtree Road, so we're literally next door neighbors. That is so cool that we're so close, and that's great. And Catherine, how about this? Fitness is something huge. You've talked about yoga. I've been teaching that now for 20 years. And you're also ACE certified, for the folks who don't understand out there. That is a nationally accredited, one of the best side-out certifications out there. So how did you explore the fitness realm of it and get interested in yoga and the whole, fitness and health side of that?
Well, that's a great story, actually, because years ago I was writing plays, and sorry about my puppy. I thought I.
Oh, you're fine.
So our viewers are going to get a sense of what it's really like around here.
Yeah.
Rolls the roast. Anyway, years ago, I was writing plays, and I didn't have very much money. So when I finally got an extra $40 a month, I went to the gym. And because I was at this gym all the time, this was down in Savannah, they said, well, you're here all the time. Why don't you teach classes?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so even when you're an aerobics instructor, you have to get certified.
Yes.
Well, I failed my first aerobics exam, which rotted my socks because I was Phi Beta Kappa Brown, which basically means I have a very fancy Ivy League education and so on. So the fact that I failed an aerobics exam really rotted my socks. So anyway, I went on to fail a second aerobics exam, and yet I think I finally passed my third aerobics exam. I found somebody who had passed me, and it just so irritated me that I failed these exams that I thought, okay, I'm going to really study this stuff. And I started studying about the body, and I really fell in love with it. And I have studied the body from all different perspectives. I have a mentor in healing in Canada that I've studied with now for about 20 years.
Oh, cool.
And so it's just sort of funny how I fell into this. And even yoga, I remember somebody saying to me, oh, Catherine, you would love yoga. And I remember saying to this gentleman, I said, yoga is for wimps. I would never say that now, and I don't think it. But I just really think it's funny, how I just fell into this profession. And I started in natural healing because I learned something called brain gym, which is educational kinesiology, and I was writing plays at the time, and I was making a living, such as it was, tutoring part time while I wrote my plays. And I had this little boy, he was 13, who had a police record and was really struggling in school. And I tutored him for about a year. And somebody said to me, well, you need to learn brain gym. Well, I learned brain gym. And then this little kid who had the police record and, was constantly getting kicked out of class, he started making A's and B's and became the teacher's pet.
Huh.
I knew it wasn't me because I'd already studied, been tutoring him for a year. So I thought, well, this stuff is really fascinating. I'm going to learn everything about it that I can. So I started studying brain gym, and I met my mentor in healing at a brain gym convention in Toronto, Canada. So, life is very interesting, and that I truly believe that sometimes we meet these people along the way who are influential and, lead us to study certain subjects that really change our lives and therefore help, many other people.
That's great, Catherine. And also on part of that as well, nutrition is very important as well, obviously. That's a big component. So how did your interest with nutrition happen, Catherine? And can you talk about that and what you see in America and what you see with your patients and clients that you work with?
Yes. Well, I studied nutrition very extensively. My first book which was all about how to heal depression without drugs. I started writing about it there. I studied nutrition when I studied with my mentor in healing in Canada. I helped identify food sensitivities and figure out what, as you know, there's many different diets. I mean, who can even name all the diet books that are but the truth is that different bodies respond to different food approaches. I've studied food healing, which is all about healing your body with just food, right? And because many people, even people who are naturally oriented, I have to throw the tennis ball again, they don't take a lot of supplements. Not only does not want to take drugs, they don't even want to take supplements. So it's like, how can we use natural foods to heal the body, and what approaches work for different people? So I am a nutritionist, and I've studied food healing very extensively.
Oh.
So yeah,
Very, very good. I'd be curious to read that one as well. That's fascinating. And also, Catherine, again, I said this before, you wear so many hats in what you're doing. You are also a co-host for a Talk Fitness radio show as well?
Well, I ran a radio show for two and a quarter years, from 2005 to through the end of 2007.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And we talked about fitness, nutrition, and natural healing. We had experts from all over the world talking about that. So that was Total Fitness Radio Show. I admire what you're doing, because when I ran a radio show, and I'm a real hard worker, I've never worked so hard in my whole life.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you, what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, organizing guests, organizing the material, it's really quite something.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, but the whole production part for me is what takes up a lot of time. But yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. What about, Catherine, you mentioned a few minutes ago about the playwrights, and I think you said about 4 of the plays produced on Broadway. Can you tell us about those? That's very fascinating.
Yeah, off Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's quite something, because, as I mentioned, I always wanted to write, and I started writing plays when I was at Brown. And so I'm trying to remember the sequence of events, but I remember writing plays, and when you're a playwright, you at least back in the old days before computers, you would print out your play and then mail it off to a theater, and including a return address envelope. So most of the time you would go to the mailbox, and there's your play back, and often with no comment. And at any rate, there was this theater based in New York, And um, as the story went, they were cleaning out their office because they got so many plays, and they were just throwing things into the garbage. And they picked up my play and somehow opened it up and started reading it, and they were just laughing hysterically. And so somehow or another, I avoided the dustbin, and I had a number of plays off Broadway. I'm really glad that I had that, because I had that experience of success with my plays. But the truth is, Taryn, every day working with people and watching people get healthier and happier, that's my big reward. That's my big payoff in my career, is having the blessing of watching people get healthier and happier. And I know what that feels like.
Yeah, it's the most rewarding thing ever. You're absolutely right. And to me, I tell this to all my clients, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like I'm working. It feels like I'm going in and doing what I'm meant to do, and be happy and spread that happiness. And that's, I could see that enthusiasm out of you as well, Catherine. That's I mentioned it again. I think we're cut from the same cloth. It's
Absolutely.
uncanny. I feel like I'm interviewing like the female version of myself here. This is crazy.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Well, Catherine, let me ask you this too. So I was researching your background also. You were a spokesperson for, it looked like both Johnson & Johnson as well as the Holistic Depression Network. Can you talk about either of those, please?
Yes. Yes, I did work for the diabetes portion of Johnson & Johnson.
Okay, good.
Type 2 diabetes is a major health epidemic in our country.
Yep.
And, it's a leading cause of mortality. And so I helped them with their diabetes education. And then based on my first book, which was all about how to heal depression without drugs, my first book became a handbook for an organization based in Seattle called the Holistic Depression Network. And they taught people how to heal depression naturally. Because my practice is full of clients who are on every kind of psychiatric medication, but they're still not happy. They're still really struggling with anxiety and depression. So I help them using holistic methods to feel better naturally, which at the end of the day is frequently, far more effective. And as you know, one of the most effective remedies for depression is actually exercise. Mm-hmm. So there's a great study at Duke University that showed that exercise alone is more effective for depression than psychiatric medication, and exercise alone is more effective than exercise and drugs long term. So long term, anybody with a mood disorder needs to find a way of moving their bodies regularly, whether it's simply going for a walk. These days, with my little hyperactive puppy, part of this interview, on an ideal day, hopefully like today, I will walk my puppy twice. We've already walked for an hour, and then I'll walk her again. So I get a lot of fresh air and sunshine thanks to my puppy. And sometimes I wonder, Taryn, am I walking my puppy or is she walking me?
That's right. I think she knows what the answer on that is. Especially around Collier Hills, Catherine. Are you near the Beltline by chance over there, the Tanyard
Yes.
Creek Park?
I'm 5 minutes away from Tanyard Creek Park.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
So we walk in Tanyard Creek literally every day of our lives. It's such a blessing.
Yeah.
Such a blessing. It's a beautiful area.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I used to go there all the time. I mean, again, I'm right up the street from that, so I know exactly where you're at. I have a client over near off North Colonial Homes Drive. They live at the Wakefield over there. It's right there at Peachtree and North Colonial Homes. And we go out and we'll walk the Beltline sometimes. So maybe we'll see you out there with Dixie out there sometime. Who knows? Yeah, we're so close.
More than likely, yes.
That's incredible. Catherine, let me ask you a few more things if you don't mind. I've really enjoyed this. This is terrific. And I'm looking forward to definitely meeting you in person. And I know for sure we're going to meet up in a couple weeks. You're going to be coming to do a guest lecture for all the folks out there. She's going to be teaching for one of my classes on Thursday, March 30th at Georgia State University on campus. So I'm really excited about that. And I guess, what is the topic of discussion that you're going to be talking about during that lecture?
how to get out of back pain.
Yeah,
I'll be
definitely.
discussing my holistic approach. I am going to be teaching probably my 7 top exercises for
Perfect.
back pain.
Excellent.
And yeah, and I'm going to be talking about food healing for back pain and naturally and non-drug anti-inflammatories. So, how to make ginger tea and, how to avoid cats. Nobody in their right mind eats cats. Caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, fried foods, and gluten are
Oh,
pro-inflammatory foods. And when you reduce or eliminate your cats, fried foods, and gluten in your diet, you bring your pain level down naturally. And you can, drink distilled water and juices and alkalize your body and help to, reduce the inflammation.
oh, very good. I'm excited. Again, I can't say enough. I'll be sitting at the front desk, eager and waiting. So I'm really excited for that. That's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get. We'll have that recorded as well too. We'll plan a video, record that. So, Catherine, this has been so much fun and so exciting to meet you, and would love to extend the offer to bring you back on here for more recurring shows if you're available. Love to, we could pick a topic every time we have you on here and just go with it like we've been doing for today. This has just been so much fun. And before we let you go, if you don't mind, can you please plug your contact information and social media?
Absolutely. Well, my website is, I have several websites, CarriganCarrigan.com, UnlimitedEnergyNow.com, and I do offer a free 15-minute consult. If you're interested in working with me, you can give me a ring at 678-612-8816 or email me at Catherine@CatherineCarrigan.com. I offer a free 15-minute consult to people anywhere in the world. I'll discuss what's going on with you, talk to you about my approach and how I would go about working with you, and maybe make some initial recommendations. And you can find me all over the social media, but the main thing is to go to my websites. And if you go to my websites and sign up for my newsletter, you're going to get a free list of juices for healing that I recommend, and also information about the 4 steps of total fitness and how you can change your body by addressing your exercise, your attitude, your rest, and your nutrition, and why you need to be working in all 4 areas if you really want to change your body.
Very good. That's wonderful. And again, we're going to have your contact information on the screen for anybody. Grab a pen and paper when we fade to black momentarily. But Catherine, I can't believe this 30 minutes flew by so quickly. Certainly didn't feel like it as far as, it felt like 2 minutes because there's so much I want to pick your brain with and learn more information about. And I'm excited to meet you. And definitely looking forward to meeting you, and absolutely, this is so great. I'm so glad that we've connected here, and I thoroughly enjoyed today's show. And again, thank you so much. I'm going to look forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. Thank you for your time.
All right, my pleasure, Catherine. Here we go. We're going to fade to black. Catherine, have a great rest of your day.